Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, welcome to the best sports podcast on the planet. I am your host, Eric of Sports Unfolded. My main man right over there, Ron. How are you?
How are you?
I am excited. This is going to be an amazing show. James already joining us tonight.
Woo-hoo.
Let's go, baby. So excited to be joining you tonight. We cover all of the top sports stories going on in the world today. If you're joining us live and you'd like to talk about anything other than politics or religion, let us know. We'll talk about it. We hold nothing back. We are trying to lose Christmas cards. Well, Ron definitely is trying to lose some Christmas cards. I, on the other hand,
there's going to be some loss today.
I am, on the other hand, the softer, gentler one of the show.
Oh, yeah,
okay. So, Ron, are you ready for tonight's show?
We're going to be losing some Christmas cards right off the top for sure.
Right off the jump. All right, let's talk about that leadoff story then. And that's one Mr. Shohei Ohtani. He has signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Plus, they made a trade today. Tyler Glasnow, hence the title, How Full Is Your Glass Now? If anybody wants to, figure that one out. What's it mean for Major League Baseball overall? So the Ohtani deal, 10 years, $700 million, but $680 million deferred, not paid till 2034.
Yeah, that's total crap. And, I did not know that until we spoke about it before the show. And frankly, I'm a little peeved that, I'm not surprised that Major League Baseball overlooks it because they basically want the Dodgers to win the World Series. They don't want to see Texas Rangers winning a World Series. They don't want to see Arizona be in the World Series.
Right? Their ratings were horrible for the World Series, right? Their thought process is we need major markets. We need a New York. We need an LA.
Yeah.
So,
so they tip the scales. They let teams get away with what they're doing with this massive contract, and basically they get away scot-free and not have to worry about paying that luxury tax. And it's just a joke. It's a joke of a league. This is why I watched one baseball game all last season, because it is a joke of a league. And nothing's going to change.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. When you allow a player of his magnitude to be, $2 million a year for Shohei Ohtani is an absolute ridiculous number. And I can't think that he made that offer to any other team in the league, because if it was, I can't see how every team in the league wouldn't have jumped in on that.
Yeah, so I'm
including a Kansas City Royal or whoever, right? Like,
I'm hoping
it's $2 million.
LA suffers somehow, some way, and I don't want to do what I did to Aaron Rodgers, but he could possibly get hurt in game one in the first inning. So
I love what James just said. This is why I think fans are starting to dislike baseball more and more.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, they made these changes, right? The rule changes, and you kind of liked them. I liked some of the rule changes.
Yeah.
The pitch clock, right? Maybe the bigger bags, it kind of added some, right? But then you start to look at the contracts and the fact that there's teams out there that legitimately don't have a chance to get a primetime player because of the markets and what they allow these bigger market teams to do.
Yeah.
There was no way a Kansas City Royals was going to sign an Ohtani and rebuild that organization and make them into a great, because they don't have that kind of money.
No.
Tampa Bay Rays trade away probably their best pitcher right now.
Yeah.
And
they do it all the time because they just don't have that kind of revenue like some of the big market teams. And it's never going to change until the rules are are leveled.
Yeah, and the great part to what James has said and you said, Ron, think about this aspect of it: the luxury tax. It's supposed to be the punishment, but now
yeah,
if you get players doing what they're doing and
there's no
taking less
punishment.
money, there's going to be no punishment for that.
No.
Because they're going to be able to fall under this tax to say, hey, you take $2 million, we're going to backload it, give you all this money in the back end, especially a guy like Ohtani who's getting about $50 million a year from endorsements. He doesn't need the 70 million a year.
No, he doesn't need anything. I mean, and watch. You think that 50 million on endorsements is going to be? It's going to be a joke compared to what he gets. Once he steps
And with the
foot in
Dodgers,
LA.
yeah. Rich keep getting richer, and it's sad. Glasnow as well. I was thinking this part of it, Ron. We were talking earlier in the year about Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
Does this maybe signal the end of that era with the Dodgers? They going after Glasnow?
I think it's a preparation for it. I mean, if the Ohtani deal is all deferred, so I wouldn't be surprised if they go sign Kershaw too.
And I thought the same
somebody
thing.
else.
Yeah, there's still probably somebody out there gonna go after.
Like I wouldn't be surprised if Yamamoto was signed by the Dodgers. To be honest with you, I would
a lot of talk, right? Japanese pitcher. Now you go with Ohtani. It makes sense, and it just scares me because again, I think what James said earlier. This is why people aren't gonna like baseball.
No,
because you either like the Dodgers. If you love the Dodgers, guess what? This is phenomenal. If you're every other team in Major League Baseball, to me, there's no rooting interest to even want to see my team competing because I don't have the players that stack up.
Yeah, no, and that's almost every team. No, what can they do? I mean, you're getting that money now. Somebody that's an equivalent to Glasnow is going to have to get paid that, right? That's going to that's out. You're not going to Kansas City. You're not going to Baltimore. You're not going to Milwaukee. You're not going to any of those places. It's just not happening. So there's only a handful of teams that can do that.
Yeah, what the New York markets, right? The Mets and the Yankees, the Dodgers. I don't.
Boston could, but they just don't.
They choose not to. They choose not to. Who we'll talk about later in the show. But it's listen. We kind of knew this was coming. Yeah. I think the deal. You kind of brought it up earlier. You thought it was going to be around $750 million. Pretty damn close. Nice job. I will say this though. When does it stop? Will we see, Ron? And we talked about this a little earlier. The first $1 billion player in Major League Baseball.
I don't think it's that far off. I'd say probably 5 years. It would have to be somebody. That could be Rodriguez, for all I know, from Seattle.
Yeah. Why don't we, James? Right? Why don't we just put more teams in New York and LA and just let them just battle it out every year? Right? Like that makes sense.
Yeah, but see, jokingly you say that, but that's not too far off of what could happen. A lot of teams could fold, and they're going to have to put more teams in these big market areas, and that's what we're going to see. I mean, one of these teams are going to move to Vegas, right?
No,
obviously, Oakland's going there. So why not another one? Why not a National League team as well?
Yeah, baseball's going to ruin it. So let me ask you this, Ron, before we move on and talk some NFL. In the competitive nature of sports, when we talk about which league has probably the best consistency when it comes to balance with teams, would you say the NHL, then maybe the NFL, NBA to Major League Baseball? Does that sound like in a pecking order to you, or do you think it's different?
I would definitely say NHL, NFL, and then the NBA,
yeah, right? NBA and Major League Baseball, because both of them try to get these super teams.
Yeah.
Every single year.
Yeah, because like the NBA, I mean the NHL rather, is got a harder cap, right? I mean it's a cap, and so I mean there's things that you can do, but you can put injuries, and then things don't count towards your salary cap. But you have to move some players, around because you have to be under that cap once that season starts, and you can't do anything about it. As we've seen, a couple of teams with those problems last season. But with the NFL cap is kind of a little wishy-washy too. But I think for the most part, I say the most part, teams are a little more disciplined.
I think the thing with
But
the NFL,
again, you're seeing it now with the quarterbacks, right?
but what happens is you write these contracts, you try to put in those clauses or not giving them, it hurts you in the long run. Like NFL, you will get penalized for making a deal. Like Aaron Rodgers took less money from the Jets when he came over, but the Jets still owe that money back. Like they're gonna pay it at some point in time in his career, even if he's gone, which eventually you're paying guys that aren't on your team.
Yeah.
We saw that with the Rams. Like the Rams try to sign everybody, and then all of a sudden you're owing all this money. I think they still paying Odell Beckham Jr.
Right.
Like that's just how it works.
This is the same thing. Like the Ohtani deal, I'm guessing is going to be a lot like the Bonilla deal, but only more massive.
Yeah, I don't see him playing 10 more years.
Yeah. 10 years is
But even if he doesn't play, I mean, he could sit the bench, he gets his $2 million, and then once he retires, he's going to get, what I mean, $68 million a year. It must be nice. Be nice. All right, my friend, there's a lot of things I don't like about the NFL, but the cap situation, yeah. But listen, right? Look at the Chiefs.
Right.
They tried, they can't.
Just saying, they kick the can down the road, but it only kicks it so far, and then you get hit by those, and
that can't get out of it.
That takes it out of it, right? And it's the same thing, like when the Bruins did to Bergeron, when he signed for $1 million, and it got kicked down the can. Where they're paying for it now.
Yeah, so you can't sign somebody else. Major League Baseball, it really doesn't affect them.
No.
Doesn't affect them. Horrible. All right. Let's talk some NFL, my friend. And there's rumors swirling all about Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots that they've already made a decision to part ways after the season. Are you buying into the rumors, Ron?
I am. And I've been on that from day one since Indianapolis game.
Yep. They said it basically from the Colts game in Germany. It was pretty much decided.
Yeah. And, read what you want into all the talk. But Bob Kraft, Mr. Robert Kraft, went down to speak to the players, to the coaching staff, and he stressed how important that game was to him. I guess it took 10 years to get that game. I don't know why. I don't know. But if it took him that long to get the game, and he wanted that game so bad, and they were awful. They were awful. And I think from that moment on, I think he had it made up in his mind that it was done.
So let me ask you this question, because this is what's bothering me about this whole. Why wait then? What did they gain?
Probably because he doesn't want to fire him in the middle of a season.
What does he gain?
I don't know what he gains. But he gains the chance to trade him
after the Colts, or fire him at the end of the season. What would he have gained?
Yeah,
this is why I'm not buying into this.
I'm not
buying.
Look,
go ahead.
You said it last week about what is out there, right? Are you going to get a better coach than Bill Belichick? Probably not. There isn't a better coach, right?
No.
The problem is the personnel, and Kraft is looking at that personnel, and he's not happy.
So let me ask you this question, Ron, because I thought about this too. I knew this would come up.
Yeah.
If we say possibility Dallas, let's say right now playing very well, but they lose in the playoffs, Jerry Jones giving Bill Belichick full control of the team?
Yeah.
No, absolutely
not. I mean, as far as
he won't give him, he's not going to get players.
Jerry Jones, he always has control.
So he's not getting GM duties there. at this point in Bill Belichick's career, I think he would be willing to say, hey, look, bring in a player personnel guy. I'm going to coach. Because at
That's
the end
what
of the
I
day,
want them to do.
I think he's going to. That's why I say I don't know if I buy into this because no matter where he goes, we're going to talk about the Chargers in a minute. I mean, they had a GM at the time. So, but I'm saying most of these teams are going to have a GM in place that you either got to say, look, I'm getting rid of him for Bill Belichick, who may be a 2 or 3 year guy, and that's it. That ain't going to happen. So they're going to, whoever picks him up is going to want him to just coach.
Yeah, because they don't want to have him as a GM, to be there only a couple of years.
So I think the best possibility is he stays in New England because it doesn't make sense to go somewhere else just to coach anyway. Just finish it out here. They're going to bring in a player personnel guy. You keep working with Mayo, and then in 2 years, 3 years from now, Gerard Mayo's your head coach, and you've rebuilt it with a new guy running the front
That's
office
what I'd
to
like
bring
them
in
to
players.
do. That's what I'd like them to do. Because look, we know that he is a defensive genius, and he has put band-aids on this team with injuries, Judon, Gonzalez, there's a few others, people being let go, for whatever reasons, right? And he always has a pretty good defense, even when the personnel really isn't there. And he has some good pieces. Like I said, the defense I have no problem with. It's his decisions on offense that have really struggled.
So a story I heard today, Robert Kraft wanted Bill O'Brien, and he signed till 2025, so 2 more years. So again, here's another situation where as much as everybody's like, oh, respect for Bill, they're not going to get his guy. Gerard Mayo, they did not allow go and interview for another job so that they could keep him in-house. You're going to get the same exact thing you got now. That's my point. Like, you're going to, everybody's like, oh, they're hard. You're going to bring Gerard Mayo in and they're going to go 5-12.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be the same thing. There's nothing changing.
Yeah. You have to, in order to do anything, it's got to be, you got to bring in a GM, so to speak, right? And I'm not even sure that you need to bring in a full GM. It's somebody with an offensive eye, right? Somebody that can really, really spot the talent offensively, because that's where he struggles. He can't get the talent. And I know a player here and a player there is one thing, but look at it. Look at
Bill
it. It's a circus.
All right, let me ask you this, because a lot of people said he wasn't going to fire Bill Belichick because of the money. You owe Gerard Mayo money. You owe Bill O'Brien money. You get a new coach. They're not going to want those guys on their staff.
No.
So Robert Kraft's going to lose a ton of money between Belichick, between the offensive coach, whatever Gerard Mayo is. You're starting to put yourself in positions where it financially doesn't make sense for this team to get rid of Bill Belichick. And that's what people aren't thinking about. They're just thinking about, they're looking at the record. They're looking at the talent on the field. If they can get a guy to get players in there and this team can at least be competitive, which they are already, but now they're winning some of those close games and not losing them. Guess what? The money comes back in. Fans are coming back into the stands. They're 7 in whatever. And, they might make the playoffs. It changes everything. Bob Kraft doesn't lose money. I can't see Bob Kraft starting from scratch, hoping that I'm going to pay all these coaches that I had, pay the new guys, and then have the same kind of season where nobody's showing up and I'm not making money.
And again, it all comes down to personnel, right? I mean, I like what they have. I like the pieces on defense. Gonzalez looks like a stud, and they have some of those other guys that just are doing their job. Like, their defense is really good, and it would be much better if they weren't on the field the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, I mean, between Barmore and Judon and all of these other guys, I think that's great. but you need somebody that can spot the talent offensively. And that's where Belichick lacks. Yes, you strike once in a while, but not when you're giving up your players after like 2 years. That's not being successful, in the draft when you're not keeping them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we need to get those guys. We need to get a talented receiver. We need to get, some linemen, a quarterback. That's a lot of pieces. That's a lot of pieces that we don't have right now because of the fact that they basically draft offensively poorly.
It is a good call, though. He did draft a punter and a kicker. And
the kicker is
not very good. The punt is very good, though.
Punt is pretty good.
I like him.
I mean, he had a couple of bad ones here.
Yeah,
and there,
but overall, he's much better. But I don't know. I don't buy into these stories. I just can't see it.
Look, when it all said and done, if he can accept a shared role, even a shared role as GM, I want somebody to bring in some talent.
And I will say this, though, Ron, and the guy we're going to talk about next, Brandon Staley, had a boatload of talent.
Yes.
Right? So everybody's like, oh, you need to bring in talent. You need a new coach. It doesn't necessarily mean success. No. Because if you give Bill Belichick, Khalil Mack, and Justin Herbert, and some of those guys, I don't see my team being 5-10.
Yeah. Look, if we had Herbert, you're a playoff team.
But that's my point is everybody's like so quick. They want to pull the trigger on Bill Belichick. Hasn't won without Brady. Hasn't won. Tom Brady was by far the greatest quarterback in NFL history. There's not even a question.
No, there's not.
Okay. So yes, the man is going to only win with Tom Brady because guess what? He didn't have anybody even close to Tom Brady. Yeah. Vinny Testaverde brought to the playoffs. Would you consider Vinny Testaverde as close to Tom Brady? Like, this is what we're talking about. Cam Newton,
I don't
Bailey
even
Zappi, Mac
close
Jones.
To Brady.
But this is my point. Like, I don't get what people are looking at. Bernie Kosar, when he had him in Cleveland, was at the end of his career.
Yeah.
Like, he never had another great quarterback with him.
No.
He built solid defenses and hopes your offense don't screw it up. Guess what this offense did? Screw it up.
Right. But there are limitations. Everybody has some limitations, right? And Belichick has some. The offense from 10 years ago does not work in the NFL right now. Doesn't work. Yes, you can chew up some clock with some running backs and stuff like that, but you still need the line. You don't have the line. So you can't even do that. You can't, kill that clock and eat up time with the running backs when you can't block for nothing. Yeah. So he didn't do what was necessary there, and I get it. I still think he's a great coach because he can coach up a team that doesn't have the talent and still get some wins and keep it close. It was what, 7 times they lost by 1 score
this I'm telling you.
So
and think about what they put on the field.
Yes, and that's the thing. You have to have the talent. If you don't have the talent, you can't go anywhere. And he didn't put the talent on the offensive side of the ball.
And period. I still think this might be Robert Kraft trying to save money. That might be Robert Kraft trying to save money. Anyway, let's move on. Brandon Staley has been fired by the Los Angeles Chargers. Do you believe they made the right choice?
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it. Hold on. I mean, this was a year past due in my eyes.
I think so too, because look, he's had a lot of talent on this team, both sides of the ball, and you have 0 to show for it. 0.
24 and 24. He's a 500
He's one of the most overrated head coaches of all time.
Should have been fired at halftime. I mean, yeah, you lose 63-21 to the Las Vegas Raiders. I think they hadn't scored 60 points, I said, since the 1969. It was something ridiculous.
It's garbage.
And then you look at the fact that he had last year the worst playoff loss, I think, in NFL. Well, one of the worst. We're not going to talk the Atlanta Falcons one, but 24 points they were ahead and lose to Jacksonville in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Like at that point, what do you look at when you're the owner and say, wow, you know what? Let's bring him back.
Yeah.
Let's bring him back.
I don't understand it.
The Spanos fan. How stupid was that?
That's a team that had talent that they could have even been contending for the division title there.
Yeah, look at
the Chiefs. Kansas City.
The Chiefs are not very good this year. Your chance was this year.
Yeah.
You had a legitimate coach in there. They would have probably done something.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, listen.
That's a team that if the Patriots do part ways with Belichick, he should go there.
I agree with you. The pieces are there.
Yeah, you got everything you need.
Pieces are there. All right, my friend. What are your games of interest? Week 15 in the NFL. We're almost winding down here.
Yeah, there's Saturday got a bunch. Games, huh?
3 of them.
Yeah,
I got all 3.
But I have 6 games.
Yeah, I think I got 6. Yeah, I have 6 as well.
And let me add, last week when I was talking about Tampa Bay, Atlanta, and New York, they're all tied now in the top right there.
Dude, I'm still team's gonna get in. It's 7-10 or whatever it is.
It doesn't matter. It still makes for a great game.
Cowboys, Bills,
the results.
Yeah. Cowboys, Bills is on my list, James. And I'm going to tell you why for 2 reasons. A, Dallas is playing so well that the pressure's on them now. 2, if I'm right now Sean McDermott, you know what I'm doing?
Playing that well?
They are. But I will say this, Ron. If I'm Sean McDermott, this is what I'm doing. A, I'm not mentioning 9/11. Okay, so we've learned that. Secondly, what I'm doing is I'm playing the videos of when the Dallas Cowboys were in the Super Bowl and smoked you. And just say, look, regardless, this is a great opportunity for us to have a little revenge game because everybody's on the Cowboys' tail right now. They all feel like this is the year, the Cowboy, look at them, what Dak's doing. Imagine if Buffalo can beat them, how it starts to put doubts in their heads again. So Buffalo, this is very big for Buffalo.
Oh, absolutely. I had that game. That's the game, right? I mean, that's the one that Buffalo needs to make a statement now. So
I love how the Cowboy fans, but this is where the Cowboy fans, and I'm going to lose a Christmas card from James right now, because this is the stuff you say. And legitimately, as a Cowboy fans, if you tell me that they had a legitimate win before last week, you're crapping on yourself because they did not beat a team over 500 till last week. So now I'm not anointing them Super Bowl champions, the Eagles, who are struggling. But again, it was a very good win. Puts them ahead in the division. Right? I'm not crapping on the fact that they won. Let's see them do it consistently now over a couple weeks. And then I'm going to be like, okay, they figured it out. And needless to say, do it in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like all the talk. I don't care if they went, winless during the season. When it comes playoff times, they don't know how to get it done. They don't know how to get it done, and it all starts with the head coach, who is
last week was legit
awful in the playoffs. Yeah. Awful.
Last week was legit. Cowboys, Bills on my list. I'm sure they're on yours as well, Ron. What else do you got?
Absolutely. I like that Minnesota at Cincinnati game.
I got that game too. I think we're going to have the same games because these games, there's playoffs right now.
Look, how about those Cincinnati Bengals, huh?
Browning, next year's Patriots quarterback.
Oh my God. What an upgrade that would be.
Woo! Oh, sign me up.
Bring Chase with you.
Right? Oh, there we go. Now we're talking. But, right, again, both of these teams, you don't know. There's so much questions. It looks like the Bengals kind of figured it out. The Vikings, where the quarterback situation and what's going on. Again, both of these teams
both
need
7-6.
They need this win. This is playoffs now. This could knock you out. Very big game. And that's why I have the Steelers at the Colts.
Exactly. I do as well.
Because again,
both 7-6.
They need it. They both need it. And the Steelers are reeling.
Yeah.
They need this so bad because right now, I'm telling you, nobody expected the Colts to be here. Colts win. Guess what?
Yeah.
You
See,
probably
and
knocked
it's like
Pittsburgh out.
I look at the experts out there, and a lot of them are picking Pittsburgh in this game, and I'm like, I don't see it. They're
Not
on the
with
road.
Trubisky.
Indianapolis, I think Indianapolis is going to run all over them. I think that they're going to just control the tempo and they're going to get it done. I don't see Pittsburgh being able to
Yeah.
win this game at
Yeah.
all.
James is right. Bengals client, they're right. They're clawing for life. And I think the Steelers are as well. Steelers are clawing right now. They're
Yeah.
trying.
But they're going in the opposite direction.
Exactly. What else
There's
you
a
got, Ron?
difference going up than going down.
Very good. That's the insight you get here at Sports Unfolded. What else you got? There's a difference from going up to down. I would have never thought that. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah, well, sometimes you got to point out the obvious,
I
right?
hear you, my friend.
All right, you have to talk about that Baltimore-Jacksonville game, right?
Of course. Right? That's a big matchup.
Yeah,
Trevor Lawrence.
Jacksonville is, again, they've been reeling quite a while now. Because, I mean, are they even still leading the division?
They are. I think that it's like a game. They're a game up.
Yeah, so, and they got a tough matchup here. And if Indianapolis wins again, Jacksonville could get dethroned out there. And how much of a surprise would that be?
Yes, yes, yes. Broncos at Lions.
There you go.
Right?
I'll tell you, look, I've been saying it all year long. Pump the brakes on the Detroit Lions.
You have called that. You have said it. I'll give you one of these, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. How is that quarterback now? Is he still one of the top quarterbacks in the league?
He's not an MVP candidate. I'll tell you that much.
It's ridiculous. Because we were talking about Miami and Detroit. I mean, Miami and Dallas about not being able to beat, those
legitimate teams. Yep.
Good teams, right? Well, what do you think Detroit has been?
Yeah,
they're
agreed.
in the same
And nobody looked at it.
Boat.
They had an easier schedule. They won some games. Now they're losing some easy games, easy wins. So this is very important for the Lions.
Yeah, and because they won week 1 against Kansas City, and we're supposed to tout them like the Super Bowl contender, right?
Yeah.
First of all, you got a team that won it last year, so they're coming in, they're celebrating, they're not even caring about the game.
Didn't have their best player.
Yeah.
Well, second best player in Kelsey.
Yeah, he was up in the booth with
Tay.
So, I mean, of course you were going to win that game, right?
Did you hear about Taylor Swift and now Brittany Mahomes don't get along? Had you heard that story?
No.
Dude, this team is going to implode from within because now
probably already is.
Brittany Mahomes, I guess, went to the press and discussed some of the things behind the scenes, and Taylor Swift found out. So they don't even sit in the same booths anymore. So imagine when Mahomes and Kelsey got to get together and be like, well, you ain't coming to my house and I can't go to your house. So, I mean, this could ruin this whole organization. This is Taylor Swift is bringing down the Chiefs.
Basically,
no other team.
The two women are going to think that the guys are cheating on them when they just want to go hang out and have a beer.
Right? And they can't do it. Can't do it. And it's going to create friction. And then in the locker room, he'll be like, well, Taylor Swift's song stinks. And then he'll be like, wait a minute, Brittany Mahomes is a, pompous whatever, right? And I can't wait. Bring him down.
Yeah.
This is what Giselle did to the Patriots. And that's why the Patriots and Tom Brady started to fall apart. And now you're seeing it with Taylor Swift and the Kansas City Chiefs. Man, I almost said something that could have got us in trouble. I'm not doing it. You got one more game, Ron. What do you got?
No.
I got the Eagles at the Seahawks. Eagles at the Seahawks.
Oh, yeah, I do have that one. Yeah.
Eagles at Seahawks. Eagles need this win bad. Seahawks pretty much could be out of the playoffs with a loss.
Yeah. It's hard to believe too because they've had a hard schedule.
They look good too, right? It looked like, oh wow, like hey, they could compete. And then
I think Seattle's a pretty good team.
But this might be that Pete Carroll, too. We're talking about Bill Belichick a lot. Pete Carroll in Seattle, like, they haven't won since 2013.
I know.
So you may see the end of that era as well in football. Two legendary coaches.
I think with Pete Carroll, though, I think he might want to retire.
Yeah, he's up there.
He's pushing 80.
Chewing gum would be out of commission, though. I mean, that would kill the chewing industry. Man chews a lot of gum. All right, my friend, that is the NFL talk.
Yeah,
it is time.
That was a good segment.
Guess what we're bringing back, baby? Triple play, my friend.
Shallow right center, long run, but Michael gets there. Throwing back to first, may have a play. Double him off, and maybe a triple play. It is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Just how they drew it up.
Just how they threw it up, baby. Triple play. Triple play is back this week. We decide who we start, bench, and cut. We said, let's do some Philadelphia quarterbacks because they're all kind of that running, dynamic quarterbacks, right? Randall Cunningham, Donovan McNabb, and Jalen Hurts. We got to decide who we start, who we bench, who we cut. Ron, you are first this week. I am looking forward to bringing triple play back. Just the way we drew it up.
When I saw this on the list of the show details, I was like, oh, that's a pretty good one because I like, the quarterbacks here. There was some talent there, right?
Yes, sir.
But it was like, all right, what do I do? Because they're,
I went a direction I didn't think I would.
Right?
Yeah, I went in a direction I did not expect to. So
yeah, I think I did too because I looked at it and I'm like, I like, Cunningham. I like McNabb. They're pretty comparable. Like Cunningham, 161 games. McNabb, 167.
I think James. Okay, McNabb. I would say James might be hitting some of that Jack Daniels tonight. He was like, start Foles. I'm like, wait a minute, Foles isn't even in there.
Oh my
He's
God.
starting Foles. Man wins one Super Bowl. He already put him in. That's it. Foles. So he's got McNabb.
So,
Hurts,
you're talking the games are close between Cunningham and McNabb. Obviously, Jalen Hurts only 58.
Yep.
Cunningham 82 wins, McNabb 98, so he has the edge there. The passing completion 56.5 for Cunningham, 59 for McNabb. But Jalen Hurts is 63.5.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is. That's pretty good. The yards, as the years get on, the throwing is more. So I don't really take that in consideration.
Agreed.
But I look at the yards per attempt. And Cunningham with 7, McNabb 6.9, basically the same thing. Touchdowns, though, 207 for Cunningham, 234 for McNabb. Jalen Hurts, 63. I mean, you can't put it in perspective with the others.
I agree.
Touchdowns, McNabb has the edge, 234 to 207. Interceptions, McNabb also has the edge as he has 17 less, and playing more games. So more touchdowns, less interceptions. That's better. But Cunningham, I believe, did win an MVP of some sort.
All pro.
Yeah.
He had an all pro.
Yeah, but they had like these MVP kind of
things.
Yeah. But so when it all came down to it, I think I picked McNabb over Cunningham. But I went in totally opposite direction. I said, you know what? I think Jalen Hurts is actually better, even though he doesn't have the games under his belt. But neither Cunningham or McNabb won a Super Bowl.
Agreed. And
I figure, okay, do I want a no Super Bowl quarterback or do I want a guy that might actually do it? He has a shot at actually winning one. Right. So I'm going to start Hurts. I'm going to bench McNabb and I'm Cunningham.
Wow. Look, man, it was close. I thought the same thought process as you. I started Hurts and I did it this way. I said, if you times his numbers by 4,
Right.
because 16 years or
Yep.
so in that area,
It's better numbers.
it's going to be better.
Yep.
So he's going to give you more. So I'm going on the potential. I went Cunningham, though, as my bench because I like the element of the run and almost 5,000 yards rushing as well and 35 touchdowns.
I like Cunningham better as a quarterback, actually.
Believe it or not, though, Hurts more touchdown rushes than Cunningham already.
Yeah.
So that tush push. And then I cut McNabb. And I cut McNabb because he threw chunks in the Super Bowl. I want a guy that I know can handle the pressure and at least maybe win a game. I don't want a guy that's going to be throwing up in the huddle. So I would never stop McNabb. James, I'm shocked you would go that route.
Yeah.
All right. Triple play is back.
That's a really good one.
Triple play is back. Think we might do what are we doing next week? We're going back to starting five.
Starting five. I figured we can do
the rebounding champs.
The rebounding champions from all the past years of the NBA. You take
so they had to have won a rebounding title.
You have to have won the rebounding title.
Okay, so James, if you're watching next week, rebounding champions, they had to have at least won a rebounding title. You're starting five next week. All right, my friend. Here comes the part of the show where we say basically, if you got small children in the room, you may want to leave because we're going to go into probably a Ron's rant at some point. But we are going to talk some NBA, and we are going to talk about your man, your guy. He is back again. Want to bring him up on
I don't even want to put the scumbag's picture up there.
I want to see your face when you got to look at him. Draymond Green has been suspended indefinitely.
And look at him.
For that hit right there. Any thoughts on the ruling?
What did I do?
Any rules on this? Any thoughts on the ruling?
Good. It's about damn time. This guy is just bad for anything.
It's about time.
He's bad for anything. Like he is just a whining, sniveling scum. I don't respect him. I don't respect his game. I think he's just garbage. He's a garbage human being. You know, he should have been indefinitely suspended from the last incident.
So I want to go in the same direction, but I don't. And and there's only one reason why. Once he hit Nurkic, and they talked about it at the press conference afterwards, Nurkic said, this guy needs help. And I think we're at a point where realistically, I'm hoping this situation finally makes him realize that he needs help. He needs help. But, well, he's already said he's
just by what his reaction is in that picture.
Agreed.
Says it all.
But again, you think about how I don't blame him for this. I started looking. I don't blame Draymond Green at all now. I blame the Warriors and that organization for allowing the behavior to continue. So how many times do we see where somebody like, oh, my kid was a good kid. He just got in trouble all this time and blah, blah, blah. You let it keep happening. You kind of just threw it under the rug. And then what happens? Mass shootings, all this stuff, right? Crazy.
Yep.
This is what I'm not trying to compare the two. What I'm saying is this, though. Draymond Green legitimately punched his teammate and nothing happened.
Right.
He chokes out another opposing player. Nothing happens.
I'm going to go one step further. It's not just the team. I look square at a Steph Curry. Because he needs to say something. He is one of the faces of this league. He needs to say something. He needs to get his teammate in control, and he has none of it. He doesn't care.
This is why I don't blame him, because, again, Charles Barkley said it best. It reminds him of a player who's getting up in age and can't do some of the things he does. And so how's he going to basically perform is he's going to act out. He's going to try to say, look, I'm still that guy, even though you're not. And I think that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a guy, and Barkley said it when he was in Houston. He goes, I wasn't very good. One day in practice, I decided I'm going to pick a fight because this other kid was outworking me. Because again, he was younger, he could do it better than me, and he slammed him to the ground. And I think that's what you're seeing from Draymond now. You're seeing a guy that just is legitimately knowing he's not the same player. The problem is his teammates and the organization didn't say, hey, we'll work with you to say, look, this is what you're good at. You don't need to be that enforcer guy anymore. We don't need you to be, just off the rail and kind of, somebody that, could snap at any point, because that's not benefiting us. We need you on the court. We need you to be able to distribute the ball. Maybe you're not the best rebounder anymore or the most points, but you can do certain things. They didn't do that for him. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you. He's done a lot of bad things. And he deserves to sit and figure this out, and hopefully he gets the help he needs. But I'm starting to feel like it wasn't his fault. It's more about the Warriors and what they've done to allow this behavior to continue. Because we talked about it when he punched Jordan Poole in practice. I said, I don't understand how they're going to make sure he's there to get his ring. I would have said, you know what? You don't get a ring. You don't get a ring. We'll give it to you behind stage after, but you're not going to stand there after you just clocked your teammate.
Yeah.
And basically, you know what I mean, show that you're not a team player, but they didn't. And now here you go again. And that's where I think Kerr and to your point, Steph and those guys have to start to say, look, it's not going to be tolerated. We can't. You want to play, that's great. You got to be on the court.
Yeah, the teammates and the coaching staff are all sweeping it under the carpet like it's so funny, it's a big joke or whatever it is, right? And it's the same crap. He's going to end up causing somebody an injury, and and then what do you do then, right? What do you do then? Like, suppose he would have choked out Gobert.
Listen,
we were talking about the guy that the skate came up during a collision in practice, and the teammate died from the skate, right? And he got charged for manslaughter for that. Like, something is backwards. Something is really backwards.
I agree. I'm not condoning his actions. I'm not condoning the things he does.
Oh, I know you're not.
And I think the problem is, though, that he hasn't really had a 5-game. Here's a game. Here's a, 1 game. This could be 20, 25, 30 something games where now, look, if this is your livelihood, you need to figure out how you're going to be able to be on the court, perform, and help your team and not lose your cool. Because you may not get another opportunity after this one. Because I think they're finally saying, look, enough's enough.
Yeah.
Enough's enough. If it was 10 games, he's going to come back in 10 games and say, okay, no big deal, whatever, and move on. This now is, I'm uncertain of when you're coming back. How do you sit back and say, I got to do these things. I got to apologize. I have to get help. I have to do things that are going to make them see I've changed. Because if they see the same player after 20 games, guess what they say? Well, you're not ready. We're not bringing you back.
No,
that's finally somebody standing and holding them accountable.
Look, and it's in every sport, right? Every sport needs to have these players now accountable.
Yes, sir.
Because we're seeing it everywhere. We're seeing it everywhere, and it's happening more and more and more. I mean, we've already had incidents in all 4 sports this season. We have the Lucic thing. When does it end? When does it end? When do these teams
Von Miller
are accountable for their players to do stupid things?
Yeah.
And they don't do anything about it.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's talk about one more NBA story that was really just a strange, odd story, Ron. I don't know if you heard or saw what happened with Giannis Antetokounmpo
in
the Indiana Pacers. Who was wrong in the situation with the game ball? So, again, the Pacers took the game ball. Giannis scored a franchise record 64 points for the Bucks. And I guess they took the ball because there was Oscar, and I can't even say his name probably properly. Oscar Tshiebwe, I believe is his name, scored his first point in the NBA.
What game is it? What game is it?
What do you mean, what game?
Like, how many games has he already been in?
I don't know. I don't know who the kid is. It should have went to Giannis.
They knew that was a franchise record.
They knew what they were doing.
They knew what they were doing. They were trying to do it on purpose.
And then there were, and then Carlisle's trying to justify, oh, we played a few games in a row, like in recent weeks. And
Such
listen,
crap.
you're being jerks about it.
Yeah.
I lost the Christmas. No, but right, you like the guy scored 64 points.
I know.
It doesn't matter. Give the other kid the other ball. I guess it was 2 balls. They're like trying to give him the non-game ball to Giannis.
Right.
But give the kid the other ball because the kid scored. He may never score another point. He may not score 64 points in his career, Ron. In his career. And you're going to take a guy's ball that scored 64 in a game.
It's mid-season. He scores his first point. Who cares? Who cares? What is he going to do when he tells his grandkids, oh, this is my only point I scored?
Yeah, right.
But I got the ball that should have belonged to Giannis.
Hey, and you like paint on the ball, first points, whatever, right? And then Giannis kills us with 64 points. Look, that's the game Giannis got 64 points for the Bucks.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing with that? Yeah, like this is stupid on the part of the Pacers. I think the league should fine him. The league should come up and say, look, you guys can't take the ball. We get the balls at the end of the game, and we distribute the way we want to. That should be a fine.
Maybe they should have Tom Brady do that job.
He deflates him. Oh, see, we can still joke about it now because we know it was a bunch of crap.
Yeah, it was a bunch of crap.
Bunch of crap, my friend. But give Giannis the damn ball. That's it. My gosh, what a dumb situation even happened. And it almost caused a fight. Like you morons.
I know. And that was the point that Carlisle was trying to make, right? Oh, they hurt one of their coaches. Bull crap.
Who cares? If they gave him the ball that he should have rightfully had.
Look, Carlisle is just a blowhard, for a lack of a better word.
Woo! Hey, Ron. I don't think we lost enough Christmas cards yet.
Not yet.
We are going to lose some more because we're going to talk some Major League Baseball. And I wanted to know your thoughts and how you would rate the Red Sox offseason so far.
Wait, are they still in baseball?
I don't even
know. Haven't seen them do anything.
Ron, no, you are incorrect. So they signed Cooper Criswell.
Yeah.
Woo. Right-handed pitcher. 1-1 last year with a 5.73 ERA. They traded for Tyler O'Neill, who batted .231, 55 hits, 9 home runs, and 21 RBIs for the Cardinals last year. They traded for right-handed pitcher Justin Slayton, who I couldn't get any numbers on because I don't think he's pitching Major League Baseball. And they traded away Alex Verdugo. Chris Breslow, what a job he's done since Heimblum has been gone.
Not Chris.
Craig. Did I say Chris?
Yeah.
So
rank them. He's terrible.
Wait. Is there anything under F minus?
It's a joke because
a G.
They came in. They were like saying, "Oh, we're gonna do so much. We're gonna go all in for this offseason, right?"
Ohtani, all these guys that we're talking about.
They haven't done anything. They've signed crap.
Tyler O'Neill, baby.
Look, as bad as they were, they're getting worse. Because
and now you can't even blame Alex Cora.
No.
Like, look at the players you're giving this guy. This is the Patriots all over again. I'm not even a Red Sox fan, but it's like, let's get the bottom barrel of talent and hope one of these guys performs.
And it's like when you think about it, last year they did the same thing, right? Michael Walker, for instance, had a great season for Boston 2 years ago, right? So
don't re-sign
you have a chance to re-sign him.
No, why would you?
With only a small raise, right?
Nope.
Maybe a couple of million more. But no, you don't keep him. And then he goes off and he has a great year. 14-5, I believe, last season.
Yep.
So with that, then they're like, okay, so we're going to go out and we're going to go get Corey Kluber, right? Well, that worked out really well, right? Corey Kluber is I don't even know. He's not even a shell of himself. He's not even himself. He was just garbage on the mound. Like over a 7 ERA. I mean, really? How do you keep running him out there? Like, how do you do it? Well, that's what they kept doing. They kept running him out there. Hey, maybe he'll get better. Yeah, sure. He's getting better, all right. And this is what they do. They try to do these reclamation projects. Oh, we're going to get this guy because he's really cheap and he's going to have a great year. He's going to bounce back. And then he's crap. And this is what they do. Every time they go out and get somebody, it's the whole Bogarts thing, right? You have a great shortstop. So what do? Your big offseason signing, you signed Trevor Story. Oh, to play second base. That's crap. You got him to play shortstop. You weren't going to have any intention in signing Bogarts. And Bogarts is a hell of a better player than him. And Story has stunk. And if he's even been in the lineup, this is ridiculous. This team is just a joke.
I had to give you this.
And they got a puppet now, Breslow. What has he done? What has he done? He's a relief pitcher that stunk too. Team.
So a G rate for the grade. What kind of grade you giving him, Ron?
An F to like 100 power.
That's what I'm saying. Like G, we'll go under an F. Oh my goodness,
G
that was
too
fun.
G rated.
All right, my friend.
No,
that
it's
is
terrible.
The Red Sox season already.
I mean, you look at all these guys that are available, and they're not even a part. It's like, what are you doing? Yeah, we want to go. We, as in Red Sox fans, want to go into the season with Chris Sale as your number one again, and who never plays. God forbid if he gets on another bike.
They said no bikes, so he should be all right. No scooters. So he's out. He's going to go to roller skates. I'm sure nothing bad will happen.
Who's the latest guy that's been out for like 50 years, injuries, that we can go get and have a great season?
I love it. I love it, my friend. Let's talk. Let's move on. Ron's rant. There it was. All right, let's move on to our.
I couldn't even find the graphics for it because I was so upset.
Here we go with split decisions. Split decisions. Basically, we ask each other two more likely scenarios, and we got to decide which way we're going. So, Ron, you are first with split decisions tonight. What's my first decision?
Hey, is it more likely that the ball boy would get more home runs than anybody on the Red Sox? No.
Only if Giannis, the ball boy, take the ball and not give it to Giannis.
No, all right. So my first one is because we haven't talked about it enough. Is it more likely that Bill Belichick stays with the Patriots, or is it more likely he goes to Los Angeles Chargers or the Dallas Cowboys? So
I told you which way I think. I think he stays with New England. It just doesn't from Michigan. The tall boy from Michigan was a buzz. Yes, he was, James. I'm staying. He's staying. I think
he's staying.
I still think he stays.
I think he's going to get traded.
Hold on, because I got one of my split decisions. Actually
okay, all right.
Well, let's. All right. So my first split decision: who is more likely to have a better season next year, Juan Soto or Shohei Ohtani?
I'm going to say Shohei Ohtani.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So Judge.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that lineup, and I know you have like Judge and
Stanton and Rizzo.
Yeah, but the Yankees strike out a lot. So I don't think he's going to have as great as a season as – I mean, he's going to have a good season. But I just think Shohei is going to be more protected in that lineup. I mean, because you think of where he was, and even though he was in, the Angels organization, Trout really wasn't in there very often.
Yeah.
So I think with Betts and all of them guys, oh my God. I think he's going to have a monster year.
All right. So Ohtani. All right. Your second decision that I need to make.
All right. Is it more likely that Draymond Green comes back this season,
Mm-hmm.
or is it more likely that Ja Morant, when he comes back from his suspension, he gets suspended for something else?
It's more likely Draymond comes back. I think Ja is going to learn from this. And I think the Draymond suspension helps Ja learn from it, because I think Ja is now seeing like, hey, I got 25. This guy's indefinite. So eventually these suspensions are going to be year long. So he's got to be very careful. So I think Ja will be on better behavior. I think Draymond's definitely coming back. I don't know how. I could see 30 games. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, the whole thought process about these two guys now are going to be probably linked for quite some time now.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, my second split decision, kind of in the same lines as your first, though. Who would be more likely to replace Bill Belichick? Josh McDaniels, Gerard Mayo, or an outside hire?
I don't think it will be Josh McDaniel, because he has failed twice as a head coach.
But Kraft loves him.
I know he does. But I would think it's going to be Gerard Mayo. I think I would bet on that one.
So Gerard Mayo would be your decision.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see, man. It's going to be sooner than later. We only got a few weeks left.
Yeah.
2 weeks
Black
left.
Monday coming up, right?
Yeah, it's almost. All right, my friend. Great job, split decisions. We do it every week. We are going to talk some NHL. And Kyle Connor has been placed on IR by the Winnipeg Jets. Can they survive this loss? Right now, leading the team in goals with 17. Obviously, they sit second overall in the Central, 2 points behind the Avs. But they're only 4 points ahead at fifth place. So depending on how long he's out, they could drop. In their second leading scorer is Mark Scheifele. Scheifele, 31 points, but he's only 20 assists, so he's only got 11 goals. So obviously a big part of their offense. Can they survive this run?
Well, so here's the thing with Kyle Connor. He is I actually had his numbers here. He's 17 goals, 11 assists, but he's a -4. So I'm looking at it is that where they're going to suffer is probably on the power play. That's where they're going to really get hit. Now, defensively, I don't think that hurts them. So they're going to need some good goaltending from Hellebuck, of course. And I think they have the defensive players to be able to withstand this. It depends on how long he's going to be out. You know, I mean, if we're talking 6 weeks, I think they can withstand it, at least stay, hovering in that area.
He would be right. But Dallas, Nashville, and St. Louis are all right in that.
Right. So they'll probably get passed up by Dallas, but I think they'll hold off Nashville and St. Louis. I think St. Louis is going in the opposite direction because they just fired Berube.
We were going to talk about Berube.
So I think they're going to hang around. I think they'll be fine. And they'll probably stay right where they are, maybe drop one spot.
So Winnipeg survives. St. Louis Blues fired coach Craig Berube.
Yes.
Does this change anything?
I don't think so. For whatever reason, these guys are just not getting up for their games.
Right, 14 and 14 and 1. Yeah,
and I think it's because of the players that they've given up on in the past few years. When you take a lot of those guys out of your roster since that Stanley Cup, like Maroon and Perron and all these guys. Those are those grit guys that get people going. And when you take too much of that out, then you have a flat team because there's nobody else to say, hey, you gotta do this, like O'Reilly and stuff. Like, you're talking all of these guys that get these players up. They're not there anymore. And basically it was only the coach that could do it. And now he's gone. And I think, they'll probably have a couple of good games, out of the gates, but then it's going to be worse. I think it's going to get worse.
6 years with the Blues, 206, 132, and 44, right? 2018-19 Stanley Cup champs. But after that championship, they finished no better than third overall. So,
they kept getting rid of those pieces that were important.
Yeah, and then Drew Bannister takes over as the interim coach. He's from Springfield Thunderbirds of the AHL, so it'd be interesting to see. Currently sitting 6th overall in the Central Division, 14-14-1. So it'll be interesting to see where they move to. Great NHL talk.
There's going to be some guys that are going to get shipped out over there.
Yeah.
But see, now the Bruins going through injuries, and they're still at least being competitive. They lost McAvoy and Zaka. So now the center ice position is getting really more important because now they have 2 kids in Coyle.
Yeah. That sounds like a sitcom. It's like an 80s sitcom. 2 kids in Coyle.
So, and I'm still trying to figure out if the Washington Capitals are going to move.
Yes, the Virginia Capitals.
Now, what they're building over there is pretty impressive. I mean, they want to have a sports mecca there.
But do you think they change them to the Virginia Capitals, or they keep them the Washington Capitals?
It's literally going to be 4 miles away from where
you know what I mean?
Now.
So I think it's still going to be Washington Capitals. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
It will.
I don't know. All right, my friend, it is time for pick and roll.
It's time for pick and roll.
Tonight's pick and roll, obviously episode 50. We got 50 on our minds. All these Bruins skaters, Boston
50
Bruins
years
skaters, well over 50, all had at least 50 plus goal seasons in the franchise's history. Phil Esposito, Johnny Boychuk, Ken Hodge.
No, not Johnny Boychuk.
That's
a different guy.
Johnny, what is he? Busick, right? Busick. I always get his name wrong. Johnny Busick, Ken Hodges, Rick Middleton, Cam Neely, and David Pasternak. We're going to rank them from 6 to 1. You are first this week, my friend. I knew you were excited about this one. Go have at it.
This was a tough one. Now, I knew who was going to be number 6. Okay. And that is Ken Hodge. And that is saying something because this guy is a hell of a hockey player. Ken Hodge, 880 games, so he played a while. 328 goals, 472 assists, 800 points for his career. He was a plus 260, and he had 2 Stanley Cups, 2 All-Stars. So he's a solid player. And it was tough to actually put him below the next 3 guys because he did win a Stanley Cup while the other 3 guys did not win anything.
2.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So it was hard, but these players are just exceptional players. And number 5, I still can't believe I'm actually putting him there. Cam Neely. Number 5. I think if it wasn't for injuries, he could have been at least number 2. But injuries did happen, and it did take its toll on his career. He still amassed 395 goals, 299 assists. He was a plus 83, 4 All-Stars, but no Stanley Cups, but he's still better than Hodge. I'll take Cam Neely any day of the week. It's just too bad that he's there because of injuries, not number 5. Number 4, nifty, Rick Middleton. And I thought about putting ahead of this, but when you multiply out Pasternak's numbers, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So when you match him up, he matches up very well to Cam Neely's numbers. But the fact that Cam Neely is hurt, so I would rather go different. So Rick Middleton, number 4, with his 448 career goals. I put David Pastrnak, number 3. I think it could get much better than this, especially if he piles in 50 plus more goals again this year. But it's all speculation, right? So 3, 4, and 5, no Stanley Cups, but I think they are better players. And in fact, I think David Pastrnak is a better player than Johnny Busick, but I couldn't put him ahead of Johnny Busick at number 2 because 556 goals, 813 assists. Yes, he played over 1,500 games, but there is something to be said about actually being there, right? I mean,
Yep.
he was there. He won 2 Stanley Cups, 2 All-Stars, 2 Lady Bings. So he's got some hardware. And, so I had to do that. But there is nobody that on this list that compares right now to Phil Esposito with 1,200 plus games, 717 career goals. He is one of the best players to ever grace this game.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get enough credit. 873 assists, 1,590 points, plus 252. He's got 2 cups, 8 All-Stars, 5 Ross trophies, the Art Ross trophies for scoring. Sydney can't say that, by the way. Just saying.
Another Christmas card loss. Good job, buddy.
Sydney only won 2, but yet somehow he's in the top 5 all time. Yeah, right. 8 All-Stars, 5 Ross, 2 Hart trophies, and 2 Pearson Awards. Phil Esposito, definitely number 1. And Johnny, definitely number 2. And then the rest kind of wherever they go.
All right. So I'm going to take fanboy out of it. And I will say Cam Neely, it has to be because Cam Neely should be 6. And I debated. I had him at 5. And then I started to look at the numbers.
6.
So my hockey guy tells me when you look at the plus minus and think about it, Eric, he always tells me plus minus. Cam was a plus 83. Ken Hodge, I put at 5, is a plus 260, which was the best on this list, which means the other team would score 1. We'd score 260 before they score 1. Cam at 83 and the 2 cups. So I put Hodge ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I went Pastrnak at 4. But again, I think he will move up by the time his career is over because his numbers. I went Middleton at 3.
And I wanted to put Middleton there. I loved Rick Middleton as a player.
Yeah, 988 points for his career, plus 175, 59 game-winning goals. So, again, really good. I went Johnny at 2. And, again, I agree with all the numbers. -7, though. That one was a little...
I know. I was looking at that, and I'm
right?
like,
Yeah. 92 game-winning goals, though.
Yeah.
92 game-winning goals. And, again, 556 goals, so second best on this list. But I agree with you. Esposito, by far, his numbers.
Yeah.
118 game-winning goals, Ron, as well, to go along with the 2 cups and all the awards that you said. And then I was trying to look at it because, obviously, he played in multiple cities, throughout his career. This is all pretty much Boston. All his Ross, the Harts, the Pearson was all in Boston when he was in Boston. So phenomenal player for Boston. Great list, though. These guys, phenomenal.
No, and that's just it. All 6 of them are great hockey players.
Yeah, and I loved Neely because again, that first part of
to put him there.
But it was just his numbers. To your point, the injuries basically derailed his career because he's much better than his numbers show.
And with Cam Neely, the only reason why he was ahead of Ken Hodges is that he brought something else to the game. That physical presence that matched by no one during his time in the league. I mean, he was a force, and he could have been, top 10 players of all time if he did not get that cheap shot by Ulf Samuelsson.
Yeah. Listen, it is prediction time, my friend. Hopefully James is still live with us. It was a rough week for you.
Yeah.
Rough week, 2-6. We got a few weeks left here, Ron, but I don't think it. I think we're going to see you in a interesting attire come the season
Which
4.
one is the question?
I will pick. Don't worry. I will pick.
I don't even know.
I will
I don't
pick.
even know which one.
I think it may be a Draymond Green hat.
Don't even.
Wow. Ho, ho.
I'll quit the show.
Woo.
Quit the show.
Woo. But obviously last week, 5-3.
Canceled.
2-6, Ron. Kenny last week, 6-2. Beat us both. Nice week for Kenny, who is in our thoughts tonight.
Yes.
All right. All right. So it is prediction time, and we start off with the predictions for the NBA, and it's 12-17. Orlando Magic at the Boston Celtics. Who do you got? I know how much you like the fact that the Boston Celtics have already lost to Orlando. Obviously, it hurt their status in the in-game tournament.
Now, the problem is who's going to be out for the Celtics?
I don't know. Right now, fully healthy. Right now.
I was under the understanding that they had a couple of players that are going to be out of that game.
If they're sitting guys, but Porzingis, Boston undefeated at home, though. Very good call, my friend James. Let's go in Boston.
Well,
only undefeated team still left at home, but the Boston Celtics.
The reason this is the game that they need revenge on, right? Because this is why they failed in the
in-season tournament. Yep, they could have had
that farce. Who won that, by the way?
The Lakers, baby.
I'm going Boston.
All right, I went Boston as well. I just agree with James. They're perfect at home right now. They're playing really good basketball at home. 12-18, Ron. We got the Dallas Mavericks at the Denver Nuggets. Mavs, no Kyrie. He's out with an injury. Luka's trying to play out of his mind to keep them, but I went Denver here. I think, we looked at Jokic got thrown out of the game the other night. He's coming back. He had a triple-double the next night that he played because a little revenge. So I think he's going to be pissed off. James going Dallas, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go with Denver. I mean, because now we're looking at something like I think these Denver-Dallas games are kind of special, right? Because you're looking at two dominating forces that don't look like they would dominate.
Yeah, Luka.
But here they are. We keep talking about these two guys and what they mean to their teams. But I think the vision by Joker is just unmatched.
Yeah.
I don't like throwing this name out, but for a big man, he kind of plays a lot like Magic Johnson.
Yeah, no, you know
what I'm saying? Because he has that.
Yeah.
He has that just vision on the court that he doesn't even really know. He doesn't see you, but he knows you're there.
Yeah, agreed. NHL, my friend, 12-16. That is tomorrow. The New York Rangers at the Boston Bruins. It's a big game.
Yeah, I think with Zaka and McAvoy being put on IR, I think the Rangers win this game.
All right. I went Bruins. At home. And I think they could do it. James went Bruins as well. Sometimes the injuries, these young kids step up.
Oh, I know. And this is why I'm going against them, figuring.
Yeah, hoping the opposite. Oppo, I gotcha. Also on 12-16 tomorrow night, the Florida Panthers at the Edmonton Oilers. Edmonton, to me, is just not what I expected them to be. I went Florida here. I think Florida is just going to play some better hockey. They're too inconsistent.
Florida's just a much better team. That's a much better team. And what they're going to do is they're going to be physical with the Edmonton Oilers defense. And you know what that means? That means Edmonton is going to have to outscore. So expect this game to be like a 7-5 Florida win.
All right. So Florida as well. And James
Flow
went Flow
Rider.
Flow Rider. Apple bottom jeans, baby. Let's do it.
I love Flow Rider, man.
Yeah,
I love his music.
That's funny. 12-17 NFL Dallas Cowboys at the Buffalo Bills. What you got, Ron?
I'm going Buffalo. Because they came out last week and did what?
Won.
Right? This is what they're supposed to do. They know it's crunch time. They know now they're in a battle, and they're going to go out there and they're going to take down the Cowboys.
Okay. James is debating. I wonder who James is going to go at. I wonder who James is going at. He said. I went Dallas. And I went Dallas for the reasons of I think they're going to try to prove that the Philly game wasn't a fluke. And this is a good Buffalo team, not great, but a good Buffalo team that on the road. I think Cotton. Yes, all right, Cotton. On the 8, the Ocho. It's from Dodgeball. Come on. No? Nothing? That's a bold move, Cotton. I love when he says that. It's so funny. Anyway, Dallas, Buffalo on that one. 12-17 also, Baltimore Ravens at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm going to go Jacksonville on this one. I think they need this. This is desperation. They if they don't win this, they're going to start falling in their division, and they have to win. And they're going to be home, and I think they got to go. They got to go.
Yeah, I'm going the other route. I'm going the Ravens. They need to put a stranglehold on the AFC and say, look, it's our division. We get the 1 seed. So, yeah, in a battle, though, I agree with you, James. I think it's going to be a very good game. But I'm going Baltimore as well. 12-18, Monday night. You got the Philadelphia Eagles at the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going Philly here. And I'm going Philly because they've had 2 bad losses now. And I think they need to ramp it up and say, look, if we're going to get back to the Super Bowl, we got to start to straighten some things out. They're going to come out determined and well ready to play. And I think Seattle's on the downside, the end of the Pete Carroll era.
Yeah, I think Philadelphia needs to
they're both birds. James is going, I'm going birds on this one. You got the Eagles and you got the Seahawks. They're both birds. I need to know which bird are you going with, my friend. Thank you, Seahawks. Okay.
Yes, yeah. I just think Philadelphia is going to set an example for I think they're going to come out and they're going to embarrass Seattle.
And it's tough to play in Seattle, right? The 12th man and all that, but I think they're determined.
I'm going to say Hurts is going to at least throw for 3 and run for 2.
Okay. Wow. All right. Tonight, I think it's 10 p.m. tonight, Eastern Standard Time. Number 5, UConn men Huskies at number 10, Gonzaga Bulldogs, Ron. Big college matchup early.
This should be a good one. I'm going to go Gonzaga. The Zags.
I went the Zags as well. At home, right? I know UConn too. They're playing well, James. I give James credit for going. I'm still not sold on them. And I think Gonzaga, I mean, they've just been so consistent for so long. All right. That's a good matchup. Top 10 matchup there. All right, Ron. It's that time, my friend. Final thoughts. But before we go into our final thoughts, can you tell all the wonderful people out there how they can continue to sponsor our show? Any information that you want to provide for them to get their name on our show each and every week.
Yeah, I'm just disappointed that for some reason the broadcast didn't go live on Instagram today. I'm a little upset about that. But with that being said, if you want to sponsor the show, all you have to do is send us an email at that address, ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We can send you out all the information. But like I say every week, Eric, the only information you really need to know is that it costs less than going to your local coffee establishment, getting a large coffee and a chocolate donut.
Yeah. And if you're Southeast Connecticut, SEC-TV, Public Access Channel 12, we're on it every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. So again, another avenue if you're in the local market to get your business, discussed on our show. Continue to share, follow us on all our social media platforms. We are on every possible platform known to man. If you don't have time to watch, you can listen to us on all our podcasts, on anything that you listen to as well. So again, so many opportunities. Send bits and stars. You can donate that way as well.
Yeah, that always helps.
And buy us a coffee, right? So if you want, buy me a coffee. You can go there and donate as well. Continue to help us. Look at all the amazing things we're doing. We continue to upgrade each and every week our show, and we're excited about that. And then check out Rhode Island Broadcasting. So many different programs, movies, music, wrestling shows. I mean, there's so many great things going on there. So
yeah, we got a movie being shown tomorrow, The Black Spot.
Oh, awesome.
And we just did one last Saturday as well. So
phenomenal. So not just Sports Unfolded, there's so many different. We are the #1 show on Facebook, by the way.
Of course.
All right. But it is time for final thoughts, Ron. You are first this week. So our final thoughts don't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It could be about anything going on in the world today. But it is your time to give your final thought.
So last week I did one for the promo for the last show of the year. And I just want to say again that if any of the fans out there have lost anybody, you can let us know and we can put that as part of our in memoriam at the end of the year. But my final thought goes out to this kid, Brandon Smith, who's a 17-year-old football player from Manchester High School in Georgia. He was shot and killed in the woods, and his body was found in the woods the day before his team was supposed to play in the Georgia 1A state football championships. One day before, the team had to go out there, and they had his jersey and everything. The team brought out the jersey and did a great show of sportsmanship and caring about the person himself. I mean, I don't know how the kid was in life. It doesn't matter though. He's 17. It is such a waste of a life. And it was just one day before the championship game and just before the holidays. It is just sad. And I just want to wish the family well and give my condolences, for me and all of the people that have shows on Rhode Island Broadcasting. So,
yeah, sad story. No, sad story. That's a shame. My final thought is for one Mr. John Morant. He is returning to the Memphis Grizzlies within the next couple days and playing again. And I just hope that he has learned some lessons with his timeout. I hope he's learned from the Draymond Green situation. The kid is an immense talent. Could be one of the best NBA players in the league. Again, stay focused. Do the right things. Remember you're a role model. Remember that you have some obligations to the league, but also to your fans and into that city. Hopefully, again, we start to see these guys mature enough to say, hey, look, what's more important? Me branding a gun on Instagram or, playing in front of, thousands of people every day and creating excitement and being, cherished as a phenomenal basketball player. So we'll see if he learns his lesson. But again, I think take that Draymond Green situation now and learn from that, and hopefully he'll be in a better spot.
Yeah, and Eric, we do miss Kenny today. Being out there commenting as always. So I hope his family is doing okay with the loss that he has suffered as well.
Yes.
Can't wait to have him back. And just hope he's doing okay.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to 4-box it one week, maybe for Christmas. 4-box it. We'll get James on, we'll get Kenny on, we'll do a 4-box Sports Unfolded, have some fun.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. That is our show tonight. I want to thank you, as always, for providing me with some time. And everybody that's watched live, James, thank you so much. Everybody else out there, if you watch us after, just remember, continue to share this show over thousands of platforms. We appreciate all the support we can get there. And all we ever ask for every single show is peace on earth.
Have a great night, everybody.